enforcement. Partial participant, the county does the testing only, and if they discover anything, turn it over to the municipality. We're recommending that Wooddale become a full participant and let the county do all the legwork in terms of testing and tracing, which they have more expertise at than we do. And they do require that an intergovernmental agreement be entered into for whichever level of participation you do, and there was a copy of the IGA in your packet. So with that, are there any questions?
I have one question. What other towns took part in this already, signed off on this? You have any idea?
I
Did Addison?
probably, if they haven't, they would be real close because everyone's going to have it done probably by December.
So you think everyone's going to take part in it?
Yeah, to my knowledge, nobody's going to opt out of it, but we don't have the complete list of everyone yet. Would probably have that next month, but I would expect the majority to become full participant communities.
Okay, Alderman Nuzio, please.
I got a question, Dave. Actually, two. One, they're talking about these exceptions include landscape irrigation. I know a few years ago we started with stormwater using, when we fertilize some of those grass areas, using natural fertilizers. Are fertilizing lawns going to become a problem, do you see?
Nobody has talked about that in the future being a problem, and again, it is an exemption as the ordinance stands now. So unless they change their thinking on it, I would not expect that to be an issue. The only thing that I've heard talked about in relation to that is there has been talk of eliminating phosphorus, or the way they would probably do it is they would prohibit selling the fertilizer with phosphorus in the county. That's what some other counties have done. That's the only restriction that I've heard talked about. And again, nothing's been formally proposed, but it's been discussed.
And one other question. With this full participation, I take it there's going to be some kind of fee or something? Or the county's just going to pick up all the costs?
County is going to pick up the cost, basically.
Oh,
But
nice.
again, we would do the enforcement, so any, court costs or anything like that, we would incur. But any fines, we would collect the money on the fines.
Alderman Short.
Just to clarify, if I may, we're talking here about storm sewers, not sanitary sewers.
Correct. Storm sewers, the testing would be done at the outfalls where it goes into the creek.
Okay,
If they tested a sample and found something, they would trace it upstream to the source.
the question I have is, we're not discussing here the idea of sump pumps going into this. Can sump pumps now in Wooddale be directed directly into storm sewer?
Some pumps can, yes.
Okay, but not the sanitary
Not the
sewer.
sanitary sewer,
So this doesn't cover anything about that.
No, a sump pump discharge is a permitted discharge. Within their exceptions, a sump pump is permitted so that it's allowed. It's allowed.
Okay, I think that's an area we have to go to, though, is the sump pumps into sanitaries. Thank you.
Alderman Christine Wenger.
Thank you. I feel that our community is more able to respond in a quicker fashion should something like this come up. And if an instance comes up in the middle of the night, I would say our Wooddale staff is better positioned to act on this. And I could see sending off the potential polluted water to the county for testing. However, I would rather see us do the partial participant community, just given that our police staff, our people on call are much better positioned to come rather than the county. I believe we're going to be more like a number instead of have the individualized service that we have been accustomed to with the fire department, police department, and public works.
Can I add one thing to that? If we're talking about someone caught dumping something into the storm sewer, nothing would change from the way it's done now. We would handle that. We would not call the county out for testing. And we have had a few incidents since I've been here of of people dumping into the storm sewer, so that won't change. This ordinance really refers to the testing of the outfalls and tracing things where we haven't, say, caught someone in the act of dumping. So that would not go back to the county. We would handle that enforcement ourselves, and anyone could call the police or code enforcement or public works if they observe that, and we would come out and respond to that.
So can you give me a good example of when this would apply?
If there's, say, just an example, an industrial user is discharging some kind of chemical into the storm sewer, but maybe doing it through inside the building and no one is seeing them taking a 55-gallon drum out and pouring it into the sewer, so no one knows they're doing it. They test the water coming out of the pipe, draining into the creek. They detect this. They go up to a series of manholes, keep testing it till they find the place where the source of the discharge, and then they would issue a citation and a fine to that individual.
And typically, we have the lead in that today.
Well, today, nobody's testing anything, so we wouldn't know unless we really caught them in the act, basically.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
I'm kind of leaning along the same lines as Alderman Winger, whether we should become a partial or non-participant. And where I'm going with that is what happens in the scenario as we have in a flood situation where a citizen calls in and files a complaint against the city because of cross-connection between the storm sewer and the sanitary sewer. So in that instance, the county comes in and cites the city. And pursuant to the agreement, we give them full access to our system.
Well, I would mention that the testing is done during dry weather flows. So during flood conditions or snow melts or some of those types of things, they would not be doing the testing. It would only be during dry weather.
Does that say that in the agreement here somewhere?
I don't believe it says that in the agreement. It was talked about when the county staff presented it.
So that's my concern. If a citizen calls in and files a complaint, rather than filing it with us, what if they file it with the county against us? How is that handled?
You're talking about the case where it's a sanitary sewer overflow that gets into the storm sewer?
Yes. Since we haven't done an infiltration study yet.
I guess all I would suggest is that would happen during wet weather conditions, and it wouldn't be something they would be testing for at the time.
But I thought you said that was not in the agreement. If a citizen calls in and files a complaint specifically against the city with the county, does that mean they come out and investigate us?
Well, no, because it's not tied in with the testing, but I can tell you now, they file complaints with the IEPA. I mean, that's standard procedure. So in a sense, they're already going to a higher authority than the county with those types of things.
But this would give them the additional right to file a complaint with the county.
It would, but I think even regardless of of our level of participation, I think they would still have that right to file it with the county.
Mayor, any other question on that?
I'm not sure where I'm coming down on this one yet.
I don't know either.
I do see that as a potential problem. Not that we don't want to handle the issue, but I just don't like county telling us, having access to our system and telling us what to do.
My question, Dave, did our attorney look at this yet?
Our attorney does have a copy of this.
Has he reviewed it?
I think they were reviewing it as part of preparing an ordinance for next week's meeting if it does get adopted, but I haven't heard any feedback from them. I can
Well,
follow
Mayor,
up with them on it.
maybe we should ask Mr. Pat Bond if that question before he draws up the ordinance. So I would entertain a motion then to table this until we get some legal opinion on it, legal counsel on it. So I will make a motion to table until we get some legal opinion from Mr. Pat Bond, since he has not reviewed it and give us his input on it. I will table it to council, providing that we can get that. I'll table it to council, providing we get
I'll
that
second.
information. The table overrules, right, Mayor? We don't need a vote on it? Okay, so we are tabling this until we get council's.
But don't you have to vote on the tabling?
All right. There's a motion on the floor at the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oppose?
Opposed.
Opposed, okay, so one opposed, still pass. If we could get that, by Thursday maybe, appreciate that. The other item, number 5, pay request payment number 6, final payment to Aerosmith Construction for $84,333.35. Dave, this is everything, this is a special service area in the industrial park, am I correct?
Correct. This is Special Service Area 13, which is the area east of Wooddale Road, south of Thorndale, and the work was completed last summer.
Okay, punch list done, everything's up to date. There's
Everything
no
is
problems.
done. Yeah, there were a couple of like aprons that were on the punch list that they were replacing. That's why it's taken this long to get to you, but the majority of the work was finished last
So
year.
that is done.
It's all done.
So I'll obtain that motion.
I'll second it.
Question? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, School Street reconstruction payment number 4, partial payment MQ Construction for $184,888.61. Dave, my question to you on this project, are we almost completed with this project?
We are almost completed. All that's left to do is striping, which is scheduled for tomorrow. Some mailboxes still need to be installed, which is also scheduled for tomorrow. And then any other punch list items that we come up with.
What about that concern that I brought up to you? Have we addressed that concern?
When is that?
The cement and,
Oh, cement in the sewer, I do have a report from our wastewater department on the time that was spent out there. So we can take that time and convert it to dollars for staff time, and we can deduct that from the contract on the final pay item.
Okay.
And I mentioned one more pay item, the handrail next to the retaining wall is out being painted right now, so that'll come in, and that's probably the last thing that would need to be done.
okay, Mr. Coles.
What about the landscaping? Is that going to be done this,
It's in already.
Landscaping is done.
it's done now, huh?
Yes.
They put
Sodding
grass,
over-
they put grass in, or they just put seed in?
Sodding over most of it. They did sodding on the north side of the sidewalk and on the west end of the street. Or they did seeding north of the sidewalk, west end of the street. Everything else was sodded. That's all been done.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Roy Wesley.
I was over on School Street before they put the final layer on, which they did the final layer when?
Yes,
Today, yesterday?
They put the final lift on Wednesday.
Okay. In the cul-de-sac, there was some cracking in the binder, or what they call gator. What kind of warranty do we have on this road?
Was that I think in the base, you mean?
Yes, in the base.
We'd have the 1-year warranty.
Okay, I guess my question is, if a binder's cracking now, how long does it take to get to the surface?
I didn't observe any of the base cracking. We did do a lot of testing on it, and I didn't see that as being a problem, but it's something we can keep an eye on.
Okay.
When we do a year warranty, is that the year warranty from the time we pay the final bill or the time the asphalt is laid?
That's from the time they do the work.
The time that the asphalt is finally laid, right now, we got a 1-year warranty, right now.
Right, that's.
'Cause they are
typically
done with laying the
how it's
asphalt.
done, Right.
Is the drinking fountain installed, or is this part of this project?
The drinking fountain installed, it's not operational because we're not putting a meter in it this year, but it has been installed.
Okay. Is there a motion on the floor?
I have a question.
Question? Alderman Roy Wesley.
Was there a compaction test done on these roads
There was compaction testing done.
in the cul-de-sac too?
The asphalt was tested.
How about the gravel?
The base was not tested, only the asphalt was tested for compaction.
Isn't it common that you would test the gravel as layers go on?
We don't typically do testing of the gravel other than visual inspection. Testing of the gravel just isn't as reliable as it is with the asphalt, so usually the specs don't require the strict density testing, and there was only a thin layer of gravel anyway, so there was no testing done on that.
So
But
isn't
again,
it-
it's typical of how we do these.
Okay. So it's not common to check the base before the,
Typically not for a road like this with just a 4-inch, it's actually the sub-base of the road. It's typically not, it's not like laboratory testing is typically not done.
isn't your base the most important thing of the road?
Well, the base is the asphalt base, that's tested. And this road is at what we call full-depth asphalt. It's gets all its strength from the asphalt and not from the gravel. The gravel underneath it is more of a working platform to put it on.
Okay, I think I'm getting a skate around, but that's okay.
Okay. So I'll make the motion to approve the bill for $184,888.61. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
184,888.64.
61 cent.
61 cents.
Second.
There's a second. Question? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Item number 7, LE improvement pay request number 1, partial lamp concrete construction, $237,028.95. Any questions on that?
Yeah, is this a final payment or is this a partial?
Partial payment number 1.
How many total payments are
I
there?
believe there's 4.
I think on this one, there'll probably only be 2. There'll probably just be one more after this because
Okay.
they're essentially done now.
There's 2.
What about those repairs? I understand there's people who put in complaints to you about damage.
They're still working. Again, it's not being finalized out yet. There'll be another payment that comes to you at a subsequent meeting.
Okay, you know about the 2 people on Walnut who've complained about broken fences. I see one of them had their own contractor come in and take care of it. And they said that you said that you'll get them reimbursed.
Right. For someone who wants to use their own contractor for fence repair, we'll let them do that and submit a request for reimbursement to us.
You submit a request, but they do reimburse, or they argue it?
They would submit a request for reimbursement, and then we would, grant that request if it looks reasonable. That's pretty common for specialty work like a fence, where they may not want a road contractor working on it. They may want their own contractor doing it.
Well, what about the one that's not repaired yet? What about the one where you were going to ask Lamp to
That's-
do the work
Yeah,
themselves?
that's on ALAM's punch list, and they'll take care of that, and we won't close the job out till they fix that.
Thank you.
Okay. Dave, I had one question. This partial payment, could you tell me what alleyways these are that we are paying for partial payment? And my follow-up with that, have we walked the alleys? Because I believe in my minutes here, from last meeting, I asked that the alleys be walked and a report is provided with us. Have we walked those alleys?
We haven't done a final walk after all the work has been done. We will do that. We have done certainly many walks of the alleys as it's been worked on, but we'll do a final one before everything's closed out.
So the 2 alleys that are cracked already and the other issue, is this part of payment?
that while the cracked panels will be replaced, and that's on the punch list, the other item with the sanitary sewer, that will be deducted with the final payment.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion on this one. I'm not gonna motion this one. Anyone care to make a motion on this one?
I'll make the motion that we pay Concrete Contractors Incorporated $237,028.95.
A second.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Well, I'm going to not vote, abstain.
Okay. Motion still carries. I voted no for that, just for the record. Okay, item number 8, storm water main replacement request payment number 1, partial payment to RAQ Incorporation, $157,531.50. I will make that a motion to approve that. I will tell you that this is the quickest water main I have ever been seen in this city be put in. So I was very happy with them on this. So I will obtain the motion to approve that. Is there a second?
I will second it.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Items to consider future meeting, brush pickup, sanitation sewer overflow. The item for, that Mr. Cadal asked me put on the agenda that did not make items future item is the stormwater solutions that they brought forward. I don't have those with me. I believe we could look back in the minutes on that. I think it was about the detention, Grove Street, or expanding a detention basin and some other stuff on the stormwater. So if that could be put on. The other item is I did write down the solo power lights. I did put that on the list. I did put on the list the light report from that is out, and that will get you that list. Mr. Nuzio.
Again, we should look at the gravel. Eyeballing the gravel underneath the roads just doesn't sound right. There should be some, I know they run the rollers over it, but that should be tested somehow. I know the city used to have a policy for private individuals or businesses. I don't see why we wouldn't do it for ourselves.
Okay.
At least a discussion.
Alderman Roy Wesley.
About a month ago, we sat up here talking about Pine Tree Lane and about the warranty work. Has anyone seen that paperwork about the warranty? Is there a letter coming, or?
Yeah.
Speak to that. Yeah, I do have the warranty letter on that, and I was going to submit that with their next pay request, which should be their final pay request, which I don't have a final invoice from them yet, but if I, assuming I get it in the next couple of weeks, then it would go to December committee.
Are you saying that you have not received this letter?
No, I have it. I have it, but I haven't sent it along because I don't have the final invoice yet
Sent it along to who?
to council.
We haven't got the final payment yet.
I still would like to see the warranty work,
Right.
because I don't want to wait till final payment and make a decision on final payment and just read this warranty thing. and-
Okay.
Well, I can send a copy of it in the next packet.
Could you do that? Thank you. And then the other thing that I really like to look at, Dave, I really like to look at engineering 2 streets. 2 streets for construction. Here's the reason why we're gonna bring this up, because simple reason is if our cost is coming back lower than expected, if we could afford to do 2-street reconstruction, we could do it. Therefore, if the price comes back high, we are 1 street ahead next year that we don't have to. Then we could go out earlier for bid to start the projects than what we're doing right now. Right now, we laying asphalt in November. If we go out for bid earlier on the street, we could probably get that in quicker. I'm just saying, I think we should stay one street ahead of our program. So we engineer 2 streets. That don't mean we're going to construct 2 streets, and I don't want the council to think we're going to do that. But if we engineer 2 streets, that will give us 1 street ahead. And every year that we could go out earlier for bid to start construction. Because November, we're still doing a street. It's November 10th right now, and we're still doing a road project. It's too long. So I would like that on the agenda to discuss that and get the council consent on that. Alderman Roy Wesley.
I know we're coming to the end here. If I want to put something on public health and safety, where's it? And we don't have no committee today for that.
You could direct that. You could direct that, your public health?
What would you like on
I would like to talk about using the access channel a little more, like interviewing like Frank Benowitz with the mayor, 1 month, and then the next one will be Dave Graff, the next one will be Jeff Hermes, the next one will be Brad.
Okay.
The thing is to inform these residents of what's going on, and I think more information we give them is better, so could you put that on your committee?
Okay, you agree to that?
Absolutely, I'm sure that our assistant manager will make sure it's on.
Okay, I will, any other items? I'll make a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Second by Christine Winger.
Yes.